By the end of Halo 3, Master Chief took a 4-year-long nap in a cryo only to wake up with completely new armor. How the fuck did that happen, and why? Today we're gonna break it all down. Let's go ahead and jump into it. This video is supported by Audible. Snag yourself a free Halo audiobook right down in the description below. Now, I won't say most, but many Halo fans were disapproving of the design of Chief's new armor in Halo 4. Now, I do agree in comparison that Master Chief looked pretty slim and his armor could have probably used some improvements from Halo 3, but what makes this topic so alluring is that there doesn't seem to be a concrete answer in the lore why it changed, which is very strange because it's a pretty big difference in appearance from the older suits, but Chief seems super unfazed by it. Why is that? It's almost as if 343 wanted to change it without thinking very hard about the logistics or the practicality or even the narrative around it, or even the extreme significance of changing such a fragile, very important, very recognizable figure. Now, I could be wrong, but he's the star of the show, right? He's Master Chief, which makes it even more frustrating that I think most Halo fans have no idea why it changed or really the detail on the practicality of it and why it had such little significance to the story or at the very least, the dialogue. And I really hope there's a more proper explanation for his radical change in Halo Infinite story, which, by the way, I absolutely love, but I will talk about later. The big problem with Halo 4's Mark 6 new variant armor is that it's just kind of impractical. Yes, Cortana gave him thicker armor, heavier armor for better or worse, probably slightly slowing him down for more defense, but this is really never talked about. But really, the shoulders is what I want to tackle. That is probably the most offensive change here. Or at first, anyway. In the beginning of the Halo 4 cutscenes, the shoulders appear to be much larger than they are in the later of the game, and it's probably because they realized that the shoulders were too large and they would collide and phase through the rest of Master Chief's armor. But even as the new smaller form, it just looks like it would get in the way of the rest of the suit. I looked up how cosplayers and action figures dealt with these shoulders, which obviously would get in the way in real life, and all of them had to either make the plate smaller or lower the plate down the shoulder. And even in the cutscenes, his shoulders are about to collide. Watch out, Chief! You're maxing out your arm! Chief! No! Certainly the animators saw this issue because they started having Chief's mocap collide and phase through other pieces of his armor. Now, you know what? I'm just nitpicking, you know? I mean, Master Chief would never need to grab onto something right above his head. No! Also, the armorless vulnerable areas are not protected by titanium plating, which seems to be even more exposed than the classic armor, if not just the equal amount. Keep in mind that this was all designed by one of the smartest, if not the smartest AI, probably the smartest one, in the entire Halo universe. And I'm just not convinced that this is a thought-out change for Chief, and do I dare say, even necessary. Today's big question is, if Master Chief was in cryo for 4 years, how did his armor even change at all? Was this a permanent change meant to update all designs previously, like the actual way that Mark 6 looked now according to 343, or is this some plot hole? Well, I would say it's almost teetering on plot holeness. In an interview with Frank O'Connor on Game Informer, he explained Cortana used nanomachines or nanobots to repair the suit, which isn't that outworldly since nanobots are a part of the Halo lore and universe and certainly would and should exist by that time, as Frank O'Connor explains here soon, which, by the way, it seems that nanobots became a part of the lore after Master Chief had his armor changed, and that was the way that they explained it. Yeah, just some food for thought. But despite those repairs, Chief's suit still has the scar on the right side of his chest plate because the armor, they say, suffered irreparable damage, which doesn't make any sense at all, by the way, because Cortana somehow gave him an entirely new suit, helmet, visor, everything, but couldn't fill in or improvise with this scar. Pretty weird. Let's listen to what Frank O'Connor says about all this.
It doesn't always make an awful lot of sort of predictive scientific sense. But weirdly enough, things happen in science all the time that actually leapfrog some of the anachronisms in our universe. I know that some fans were upset of the idea of nanobots making repairs to the Chief's armor, which is, if we're in the 26th century and nanotechnology hasn't advanced beyond where it is today, then we're probably in a lot of trouble. And this is in a universe where our spaceships can travel faster than the speed of light with no problem at all. So it's a really funny mix of technological deliberate anachronism for feel and for atmosphere, and obviously for gameplay. And we do pay attention to science, and you'd be amazed how much really hard science has changed since the game started just 10 years ago.
It's also confirmed that Cortana fully updated all around during the 4 years that Chief was napping and made some repairs, but they were not upgrades. And if that's the case, which it is, then why would Cortana make him heavier? Wouldn't that slow him down? But what makes this even more strange is that there is really no proper explanation of what happened here and exactly why and exactly how, if you're just playing the games. And we were sort of just expected as players, as fans of this universe, to just kind of forget about it. Alright, so maybe I'm being a little bit too rough on 343 and Halo Force changes. I mean, after all, they had this brand new franchise. They needed to make some changes with Master Chief and Halo 4, of course, and I'll explain why soon, but it could have been much, much worse. I mean, holy shit, so much worse. But what was the real reason that 343 changed the armor? Well, I believe they went in the right direction, wanting him to come off as more tankish, as explained in the vidogs. Now, 343 wanted to do something that made players feel like they were running and gunning a tank. They studied what was done in Halo Reach, actually, and they wanted a nimble yet heavy superhero, in contrast with Reach armor design that was on the more bulky side, in which they're probably referring to George, who most notably had the thickest build of any Spartan in any Halo game that we've seen so far. So certainly I think that was good reference, but 343's goal was to hit that sweet spot of what was fictionally true with Chief and his personality, while also making the players feel superhuman, and I think that was an admirable goal. But you know, in defense of 343, it was about time that Chief had an upgrade. 343 thought about Infinite's design really long and hard, and honestly, I think it looks amazing now. I mean, it's a great balance between mobility, iconicness, and toughness. He looks a little bit thick, to be honest, but that's okay. I'd take it over Halo 4 and 5's design any day. And this armor, believe it or not, has been inspired also by 4 and 5's, but also Halo Legends version, which was the thing that I noticed right off the bat, that it looked like Halo Legend jumped into a Halo game. It just looks really, really great in Halo Infinite, and I can't wait to play as Chief in the next Halo game. Like this video up if you ended up enjoying, and subscribe to HaloFollower for tons more of Halo news and lore and info coming up soon. I've been covering Halo for 8+ years and so on, and I'd love for you to join the journey if you haven't already, and also hit that notification, become part of the notification squad, guys. Also, let me know down in the comments below before you head out, what's your favorite armor in Halo? What's your favorite Master Chief iteration as well? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.